and not interfere as a wedge shield and interfere with goals. That's not my thing, and that's why I'm here today.
If you look at the First World War, it had a long prehistory of almost a decade, and we are in that decade now. I cannot say when it will fully escalate, but we are already far along.
Europe is facing a wave of growing unrest as thousands of people poured into the streets of Vienna, Austria, to protest against the European Union's rapid militarization and continued support for Ukraine. The demonstration, held under the slogan, "Peace and Neutrality," brought together citizens from various political and social backgrounds who expressed frustration over what they see as the erosion of Austria's long-standing neutrality.
How easily one gets into almost a war frenzy, yes, without necessity, that is incomprehensible to me.
That means an end to the sanctions against Russia, an end to the sanctions against Belarus, and of course no more transits, no more arms deliveries through Austria towards Ukraine.
And the dangerous expansion of European military policies. Protesters waved national flags and carried banners calling for dialogue and peace instead of weapons and confrontation. Many demonstrators accused European leaders of prioritizing conflict over diplomacy, arguing that billions of euros are being spent on arms and military aid while ordinary citizens struggle with inflation, energy crises, and economic uncertainty. The protesters chanted that Austria should not become part of a war alliance and called for an immediate end to all weapons deliveries to Ukraine, as well as the lifting of sanctions against Russia, which they believe have backfired on European economies.
I can still remember the many wounded, the many people who had a leg, who were blind, the war invalids.
Speakers at the rally included former diplomats, peace activists, and independent politicians who warned that the European Union's growing alignment with NATO threatens to drag the continent deeper into conflict. They argued that Austria's historic position as a neutral nation is being undermined by EU pressure and by the government's quiet cooperation in defense initiatives, such as joint training missions and intelligence sharing. Several voices demanded a national referendum to reaffirm neutrality as part of Austria's constitutional identity. The protest was largely peaceful but marked by strong emotions and public dissatisfaction with Brussels' policies. The rally reflected a wider European sentiment as similar demonstrations have taken place in Germany, Italy, and France, where citizens are increasingly skeptical of the EU's military ambitions and the ongoing costs of the Ukraine conflict. Observers say these protests highlight a deep divide within Europe between those who see military aid as essential for defending Ukraine's sovereignty and those who fear that the continent is being pushed toward a prolonged confrontation with Russia.